water, it keeps the ground temperature down, which is good for the plants.
Perfect.
Also, keeps the weeds from growing. You want to stop those. And
Yes.
then also, it's aesthetically, appealing. So there's all different kinds of mulch, and trying to make the right decisions, there's a lot of unknown variables here. But we'll start out with some of the, misunderstanding that gravel is a good mulch. It is in some particular cases, where it's you have Mediterranean style plants, or you're going to really bring out the foliage of the plants, but the plants really have to be able to tolerate the warmer soil temperature, because gravel, quite the contrary, versus wood chips or anything else, it's going to raise the soil temperature.
Oh.
And one of the main things when you apply it is that you got to make sure you put down weed fabric, weed mat, and this will keep the gravel separated from the dirt. Actually, gravel can a lot of times have the greatest growing environment for seed germination when you mix in the dirt. So that's a no-no. Don't do that. Don't do that, because it's going to turn into a mess. And gravel is about 4 times more expensive than mulch. So you want to make sure you do it right.
Okay.
They have pine bark, different varieties of pine bark. This is the large and this is the small. This is, very environmentally friendly, because, it's a byproduct of the lumber industry. This is the problem with this mulch is it doesn't go good on hills, and also it has a tendency to float away. It will float, so it's a little more problem on that. But here's another product that's coming out, this rubber mulch. It's shredded up, right? Tires, right? Some of the things about this mulch is it lasts longer, but it does have some leachates, which are chemicals that get into the soil. So you want to make sure you're cautious about that. Don't use it in your vegetable gardens, but it is good for playground surfaces, and there's some questions about it still being discovered whether it's going to be the best stuff for us.
Okay.
Then we have cypress mulch. This is again a byproduct. Most people think that we cut down cypress trees for mulch, and maybe they do in some small instances where it's farmed, but it's not really, cutting trees from the wild. But this is a great mulch. It's it turns gray. It has some color issues. It will fade to the light gray. But one thing you want to remember about wood chips is it's going to attract termites. So you want to make sure that you keep it around 2 feet away from the house. Unlike those pine bark, it doesn't really attract termites. For years, I've been finding large bits of this mulch, like this type, laying next to the house. I'll kick it or I'll turn it over, and boom, there's termites. So you make sure there's only, I think, in 1 cubic acre in the state of Florida, 1 million termites per cubic acre. So, when you're putting down mulch, you want to make sure, here's our plant, that you kind of taper it down, that you don't put it laying up against the area of the stem here, because that's going to rot out. Okay. And then also another good idea when you're putting down mulch, to make sure that your yard work is easier, your landscape work is easier, is to put down some newspaper. To successfully put this down, you need about 4 or 5 sheets, and you want a good overlap. You don't want to have spaces between it, and one of the bad things to do is to put dirt on top of it. Don't put dirt on it. You're completely defeated the purpose, because in every cubic foot of dirt there's already dormant seeds. So once you bring it to the surface, add light, add water, you're going to have problems.
You've got weeds.
And then before you do that, one other thing, this stuff is, can you guess what that is? That's not mulch. That's pre-emergent. Pre-emergent, and what that does is kill all the emerging seedlings. So when you do this, put down the pre-emergent first, put down the newspaper, 3 or 4 sheets, no seams, no dirt on top. You'll have good weed coverage for 1 year almost.
That's perfect.
And then put some pre-emergent down 3 months later.
Okay, thank you so much, Larry.
Okay.
No, we're out.
We're out, all right.
I know. For more information on gardening, log on to larrysgarden.com. They don't